Hello to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of the Vigilante Vibes podcast, where we talk all things Marvel along with other fandoms, but without the toxicity that's taken up way too much space in each and every fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and we're here to have another episode of elevating the nerdy voices of the rainbow, where we lift up the voices of the LGBTQ plus communities. Today, joining me, I have Kelsey, who I'm very excited to talk to.
Hello.
Hi. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am a college student, I am a mother, and I'm a huge nerd.
Oh, shoot. Well, that's perfect because we're all nerds here. And I'm a mom too, but I'm not in college. So you have one thing that's different here. So you say you're a huge nerd. What are you a huge nerd of?
I am a recovering Harry Potter nerd, and have since shifted to Marvel. MCU is my favorite. I also love Resident Alien. I love Supernatural. I love Dune. Really anything sci-fi, fantasy related can catch my eye.
I 100% feel you on the recovering Harry Potter fan because it hurts. It
It
hurts.
does. It
Harry
does.
Potter was my life, and
Mhm.
I'm not like now. I never thought there'd be a world where I'd be like, "Oh, they're making a series. I'm not watching it."
Yeah.
That's it's wild. It's
Tell me about it. Growing up, that was a very safe place for me. And it kind of, to me, spoke to this unwanted population of people that found their home. And I saw a lot of anti racism messages in it, a lot of inclusivity. And then becoming an adult and kind of seeing the other side of that, and even some of the subtext that I didn't notice as a child, it's actually horrifying.
yeah. I did not notice any of that until it was pointed out after
Hmm.
the author won't even say her name because
Nah.
she doesn't deserve it.
Nope.
After she decided to show her true colors, so I think
Absolutely.
it's just such a big betrayal because, like you said, it was a lot of our safe spaces, and there was the whole point of it was to find your people. You fit in somewhere. You're not a nobody. And
Mhm.
then you have her doing these things. It's like, who did we put our trust into as a child? Because you do put a trust into them when they're your safe space.
Absolutely. And it kind of helped form, a whole generation of kids, really.
It absolutely did. But there'll be something else to nerd out about. I guess I'm just glad we found out about it now before our
Mhm.
kids had to find out about it.
Absolutely. And you know what? X-Men really does the same thing. They've got a
True.
group of misfits. They find the school. They are taken in. Society kind of others them. And so to me, that was a really easy transition into Marvel, was just kind of going back and first of all watching the X-Men movies from when I was a child. Um, whether they're source accurate or not is definitely up for debate. But watching them the first time, I liked them. Obviously, Hugh Jackman is incredible. But watching them again now, I'm kind of like, well, this is really the avenue if I want to expose my children to that inclusivity and that, you can be a weirdo here vibe. Let's go X-Men.
I totally agree. The movies, they are they're debatable, but
Hmm.
I love them. I started with X-Men the animated series. I didn't start with the comics, and then I went into the movies, and I know they're problematic. I know they have their problems, their things, their no comic accuracy, but I still love them. I love seeing it on TV. I
Yeah,
love it.
same.
Yeah, see, I feel like they need more respect. They did their best with what they were given at a time where superhero movies were not a thing.
Well, that's exactly it. And I mean, even down to like their outfits were not what the comics had. Um, but they were trying to break through with this. And if I'm correct, they went with the black leather because the Matrix was so popular. So really they were looking for any sort of a avenue to get those movies through. And we can all look back at movies made 10, 15, 20 years ago and find problems. However, I'm happy they made them. And I'm so happy we get to keep our Wolverine for till he's 99. Although I would be okay with a recast as well. I know there's been a lot of talk about who should do that online, and that's really cool too.
Personally, I think they should not recast. They shouldn't go with Logan whatsoever. I think it's all about X-23. Bring her in, make her the Wolverine because she is amazing. And whoever they use as a recast will not work for everyone. They are screwing themselves over by even entertaining it at this moment. I think just because Hugh Jackman was just in Deadpool and Wolverine, it is so fresh. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, don't do that now. Just give us Laura and then we'll
Mm-hmm.
be all right.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's been so much passing of the torch within the MCU right now, that maybe just pump your brakes a little bit. Laura and Logan can live side by side for a while. Don't hand it off quite yet, and give some of the fandom who are a little bit more hesitant, especially with handing off to a female character, just give them a minute.
That I fully agree with because there's just so much going on with Captain America right now. The movie's
Mm-hmm.
still in theaters and I loved the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. Did you happen to see it?
I have not yet. My
Oh.
college schedule has just prevented me from seeing it. I'm not concerned about spoilers at this point. I have seen the mixed reviews. Most of the fans that I kind of align with opinion wise have loved it. And I loved Captain America or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I don't foresee myself not liking it. Plus, Harrison Ford, come on. You can't go wrong with Harrison Ford Hulk.
It's true. He does really well in the movie. They honestly, all of the cast did incredibly well. I do understand the people who have complaints. There were a few complaints I had, but overall, I thought it was great. I thought it was fun. I
Mhm.
mean, no movie's going to be Endgame level unless it's Endgame. It's like, why can't we just have these movies?
Right. Well, and people like to disregard the fact that you have to build up to an endgame type movie. It's not, every movie doesn't come out that hard. It would be, I mean, I think it would be exhausting personally. So yeah, we're building up in a new phase. We will get another endgame level movie, but we have to wait a while.
But I also think the time was being built up to, it was such a different time. Now everyone's attention span is so limited because they spend all day looking at 60-second videos on
Mhm.
TikTok for hours, and now they want it now. They want everything to be given to them now, and they want to be able to complain that there was no build up. But it's like you'll never be happy. Just stay at home.
Right? Oh, absolutely. We do have a kind of a cultural phenomenon going on right now where we have effectively trained our brains to only be able to focus for, like you said, 60 seconds. And really, down the line, we're going to find that's problematic, I think.
I think so too. I think we're already seeing that with
Mhm.
everyone just judging every movie based on an end game level movie, which
Mhm.
makes absolutely no sense because if every movie is end game level, then are any of them?
Yeah, exactly. Then we set a new standard, you'll never meet the goalpost. So,
People just can't be happy. And
no.
that's okay. That's go be happy unhappy at home. I don't really care anymore. Like
Right?
I'm at the
Yes.
point where I'm like, you do you. I'm good.
Yeah, some of us are quite happy with most of what comes out. I know you are not a fan of Love and Thunder, but besides that, I think we can find good and bad in most things. And, you know, black and white thinking is really not helpful. So nothing's all good, nothing's all bad. I mean, there are obvious exceptions, but movie wise, there's going to be a couple problems. But for the most part, was it a good film? Did it tell the story? Did they give the characters justice? That's what you need.
And are the Captain America fans happy? The ones who were excited for the movie, the ones who like bought their tickets in advance, were they happy? Not the people who went to hate watch it. I don't really
Absolutely.
care. Just the people who it meant something to them. That
Absolutely.
that's who matters.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. So you brought up X-Men. What is your favorite X-Men?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. I grew up loving Rogue. Now I
Mm.
have slightly different feelings towards Rogue just because it is such a departure from the canon. Although I still watch her with, you know, warmth in my heart. Um, I love Dark Phoenix, not the
Oh.
movie. I liked like I liked Jean Grey, and Deadpool, whether or not he's an official X-Men or not. X-Men
He
trainee.
he considers himself an X-Men
Hmm.
multiple times, but he doesn't have an X gene.
Right.
So it's like, okay, buddy, if that's what gets you through it, sure.
We'll just let him identify. He
Yeah,
can he
right? Do
can
his
be. I mean, he
thing.
can wear his little trainee jersey. I think that's cute.
Yeah, that's his thing.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, temperamentally, I am definitely a Logan. So I can definitely relate to him. I mean, obviously he's more hardcore and says more what he thinks, but I think there's a little inner Logan within me. Maybe he's the devil on my shoulder. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally get that. Logan, he pops off so quick, and sometimes, like during the day, you just kind of catch yourself. And you're like, oh,
Yep.
okay.
All
Now
right.
I
Calm
see
down,
the
buddy.
relatability. That's coming through.
Absolutely. Yeah. Also, I'm not positive on like her X-Men status comic wise, but Kamala Khan,
Yeah.
so relatable. So relatable. I had no idea about Miss Marvel beyond like seeing her in Spidey and His Amazing Friends with my kids. And when Miss Marvel came out, I was like, I know this is more of like your Disney Channel original series type vibe. I related so hard with it. It was like she's this cute little fangirl and just looking up to these people. And I'm like, that is who I was. Like at her age, I was absolutely. And also, I'll say it. I'm not sure how the internet feels, how the fanboys feel. Um, I get a little bit of maybe bi-curious vibes from her.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
I am so glad you agree.
Right.
I'm like, this is more than just admiration for Captain Marvel, right? This is a girl crush. This is a crush.
Yeah, 100%. Like right now, you also get those vibes from her in the comics. Right now, she is a part of NYX, so
Okay.
she's with all the mutants of New York that didn't have a place after Krakoa, so they're all together. She's very much a mutant and 100% has those vibes to her. I will say NYX is probably like the gayest of the comics that's come out of from the ashes besides exceptional X-Men, and it's dawned on me like, oh, and Miss Marvel's kind of leading the reins here.
Hmm.
Interesting. So I 100% agree.
Right. I like that the vibes are there. I also kind of like that it's not like explicitly said. And not just because it doesn't, I'm not about like let's rock the boat. I'm okay rocking the boat. But I like that maybe she doesn't know yet. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. Like we were, you know, middle school, high school age, and we were like, no, I just really admire Natalie Portman. And come to find out, it's more than admiration for sure. So I really, really dig that.
I agree with that. I think a lot of people who aren't there yet need someone to relate to as well to
Hmm.
grow with. But I also think there should be characters that it's kind of open ended, kind of for your interpretation, like with Spider Gwen in the Across the Spider Verse
Yeah.
movie. I like that they left that open ended, but very, very much transcoded her.
Hmm.
So, like, there's no way to deny they did
Oh,
that.
for sure. I mean, there was like stickers or pins in her room. Like it was all over the place.
Yeah,
But
her dad
yes,
wore it
that's right.
on his officer's uniform. It was on her skateboard. The whole when she was talking about the change she went, the entire scene turned pink, white, and blue.
That's right. That's right. The
Hmm.
color scheme even was. And yeah, I think you're right. I like that it's open to interpretation. I think people can read what they want from that.
Hmm.
The movie still is going to come out. It's going to do amazing. We're not going to have people protesting it. But the people who need to see that message and need to see that representation are going to get it. They're going to
Yeah.
see it and they're going to feel it regardless.
Exactly. And I think having the blatant representation is a beautiful thing. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. But I also think when you have characters that are open-ended, that people who won't who kind of are having that struggle and that inner argument with themselves can find it to relate. They're like, okay, well, they didn't say she's trans, but I haven't said I'm trans, but I do
Yes.
relate to her.
I agree with you. Yep, I think that's equally important. I think we need both things. I think we need,
Absolutely.
you're right out there, they know who they are, they're telling you this is who I am. And I think we need those question mark in the air, because there are a lot of people living with a question mark in the air and they're not sure yet. And so, yeah, that does kind of bridge that gap and introduces that it's okay to be questioning. It's okay to not know who you are yet. And it's okay to change. You might be this now, and 5 years from now, you might realize, oh, I'm not that anymore. And I think that everything in life is fluid and everything is on a spectrum. And, we learn, we grow, we change, and that's all right.
I completely agree with all of that. And I think people don't quite realize, like, it is okay to not want to label yourself. You just
Mm-hmm.
feel how you feel. As the kids say, go with the vibes.
Yeah,
That's okay, because I feel it. I'm a very straight woman. So, like, I'm just kind of picking up what I've learned through this whole series process. But
sure.
I feel like putting a label on yourself and accepting that label has been really, really hard for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're from a certain family, if you were raised a certain way. I think people don't quite understand that some people cannot admit they're gay even if they know they're gay. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can't admit they're trans if they know they're trans. That's a whole different fight in itself. So that's okay to not be able to do that. Just be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Yep. And not everybody is, a fan of labels to begin with.
Yeah.
And if you have a label and you have pronouns that are different from your binary pronouns, I'm all about that. I support you. And if you are somebody who says, I don't really adhere to anything, I don't have a label, I'm just kind of myself, that's great too. I think there's room for everybody.
I agree. I am the worst at assuming pronouns because it's just like it's been so long in
Mhm.
my life. It's just like, oh, girl, boy. And now the world is changing and trying to adapt. It's hard, but it's really not that. It doesn't take much time. It doesn't take anything out of your day. If someone says, I actually go by they, I identify as she, he, okay, I
Right.
will do just that. It doesn't hurt at all. And for some reason, it offends so many people. And it's just like, you'll be okay.
You will be okay, for sure. Well, and like we were talking about earlier with our brains retraining to take in only 60 seconds worth of information, our brains are amazing things. We can retrain our brains to start to incorporate they them pronouns. We can retrain our brains to not look at somebody and assume just based off what they look like. It does take work, it does take practice. We will mess up, but the best thing to do is if someone corrects you and say, oh, it's they them. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for correcting me. Don't say, I've heard, don't say sorry. Because then that puts them in a kind of position of going like, oh, you don't have to be sorry, and now they're feeling bad. We don't want to place any bad feelings on them because we had a hiccup. We just say, thanks for letting me know, and we correct it. That's all. That's all people ask for. Really, it's not too much to ask.
I love that. That's perfect. I'm sorry, 1 second. But yeah, I think that's perfect. Just saying, don't be sorry. Just here. Do you want to see you? Look, do you want to see you? Okay. Look, there's you. Do you see you?
You see you?
There you go.
Oh, little paintbrush and a whisk, all set.
She collects long things. So she has about like 100 toothbrushes.
I love
Uh,
that.
yeah, there's probably over 100 of them. And because we go to the dollar store and they have the
Mhm.
packs, and I just keep buying them because she's so obsessed.
Yeah,
But
special
today,
interest area. I love that.
yeah, today is a pen, a lollipop stick, Daddy's whisk. He's gonna love that, and a paintbrush.
My
That's
daughter used to run around with a toy hot dog. I mean,
oh,
everywhere we went, it was like this toy hot dog needs to come, and it was like her chew toy too. So sometimes she'd just have it in her mouth like a little puppy, and I'd be
oh
like,
my
okay,
god.
yeah,
We have the chew toys as well. Both my kids. Well, we don't know if she's on the spectrum, but my older daughter, who's 5, she is on the spectrum.
okay,
So everything gets chewed on. Everything has my kids' DNA on it. Like I could never scrub this earth of their DNA if I
right.
tried.
I feel that. We're a very neurospicy household as well. So, and I'm actually in school studying psychology, autism and ADHD specifically.
I
So,
love that.
such a passion area for me.
Oh, I love that. We need more of that because it's just there's just not as many resources as you think there should be.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right? Can I put you down now? Oh, you hit your head somewhere. Oh, well, I'm so sorry. Right. There you go. Well, I can't have you here. I don't want people to see you. Anyways.
She's like, I want to be a star.
So Jean Grey is your favorite X-Men. That's a good character to choose. She's so much lore behind her. Have you checked out the new Phoenix comic run?
I haven't. I haven't gotten so much into comic books. I'm trying to more. The problem is I didn't start picking them up till I was in my 30s. And my brain is like, how do you read this? What is happening? And I love now that even like I've worked through schools and sitting in like library lessons, the librarians will legitimately be like, this is a very, very valid way of reading. If this is what gets you into reading, it does. And they'll promote comic books and graphic novels. And I think that's so amazing. But when I was growing up, it was like, that's cheating. You can't read that. You need to only words. Nope, you know? So I'm still working on it. I'm trying because I'm like, I want the info from this book, but how to read it, it takes me longer to kind of decode the order. And then I've kind of lost track of what's going on.
Do you have Marvel Unlimited?
I did. I have let it lapse, but
That
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
So on Marvel Unlimited, if you go into the comic and you double click it, it'll bring up each bubble for you to read in order on the screen.
Oh
So
my
you don't
goodness.
have to do that.
I had no idea it did that. I would
Yes.
not have let it lapse. Well, thank goodness for you, Megan. I'm going to get it back.
That's the only way I read mine on my app because like it's such a small screen and there's such small letters and I'm just like,
Yep.
yeah, so open the comic, double click on a panel, you're good.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally going to get more into it. Yeah, because it's
Actually,
like,
I wonder, can I show you on here?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if you'll be able to even see it.
Oh, okay.
I've never done this before. What was I reading last? But yeah, that was like, because I was always like, I'm not getting the app. Why would I want to read on a little tiny screen?
Right.
It makes no sense. Okay, all right, so Daredevil, let me see. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
see, double click, and then do it again. You bastard. All right. Oh my God. All right, see, yeah, one panel at a time.
That is a game changer.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
But I believe the Phoenix run, some of it should be on there. It's by Stephanie Phillips, who is one of my favorites. She's fantastic. And the things she does with the Phoenix run, I think actually give Jean a lot of justice because admittedly, I haven't been too big a fan of hers in the past, but I feel like I'm now like kind of showing more respect for her as a character with this run.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think you dig it.
Yeah. I think I've always just kind of liked that there's like this duality to her. Obviously, Professor X locked away half of her brain, so
Yeah.
he kind of made that. But again, that is a relatable thing for a lot of people. For me, that's relatable just through autism. It's your inner self and your outer self. And I think you can see that in quite a few characters. A lot of mutants have that kind of, but anyone really with a code name has that.
True.
Outer personality. Spider-Man to me is super duper relatable. He puts that mask on, literally, he's masking. And suddenly he is bratty and he's bold and he's making jokes and he's heckling the bad guys. And that is so relatable to me as like my customer service voice or my outside personality. But when you meet Peter Parker, he's just a little quiet nerd boy, you know?
Yeah, I get it. Because, I mean, like, even as parents, we have to mask every day. I want to tell my kids off every single day because they are wild. But you don't. You just kind of put on the voice. You're like, it's okay. Let's calm down. And then behind closed doors, you're like wanting to flip a table.
Right, you're like, oh, just stop. And then you go out and you're like, okay, so this or that.
Yeah, exactly.
First
We
this,
all,
then that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can have this once you do that. And like,
Mm-hmm. Right?
jeez, man. Oh, it
I wish I had an
drives me bananas.
actual Spider-Man mask that I mean, I could buy one. I could buy one, let's be real. But I wish I had something that gave me that, like a physical representation that would kind of get me through in those moments, because it can be hard. It can be hard not to break and not to let that inner person out, not to let your other sided Gene out.
Yeah, and I think that happens way more, like all the time, not just with parenting, but like, you go out in public, you get a little overwhelmed, you have to still mask. If you're around a bunch of people and you're uncomfortable, you have to mask. If someone makes you upset, you do have to mask because sometimes you want to pop off. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, you're not trying to get arrested today.
Right? No,
Yeah,
I didn't wake up wanting to do that for sure. So yeah, got a mask or you got to walk away.
exactly. I'm glad you get it. But Jean, I never thought of Jean as that representation. That is such a good thought.
I think we all see, different things in the characters we like, and I think that's really cool. Yeah, and Spider-Man, I don't know that he's autistic. I think he's got ADHD. Deadpool for sure has ADHD, but I see neurodiversity and neurodivergence in so many characters. And somebody who isn't neurodivergent may not see that same thing, but they may see, oh, hey, this actually might be queer coded. Like we all kind of read into and see like a mirror back of what our experience is. And I think that's the amazing thing about Marvel is that it's there if you want to see it. And it might be that we all see different things, but I do think intentionally they put just a ton of diversity within it.
I agree. I think they've always done a really good job at that. I would like to see more autistic representation because right now it's like Reed said, Mr. Fantastic said one time in a different universe that he's mildly autistic. And it's like, come on. You gave us
Right.
him. Like, he kind of, not us, but like the community. You gave the community him. He's the worst.
Right. Well, yeah, I think like we said, like, some of those hints are nice, but especially with autism, I would like just loud and proud. I would argue that our loud and proud autistic character is Drax the Destroyer. I mean, you
Yep,
can't get a
that's a
more
good
literal
one.
thinker than Drax. I also kind of think all aliens are autistic, but that's just my weird view. Resident Alien, Harry, I don't know if you've ever watched or read any of the comics, but Harry is absolutely autistic, or just his alien race acts, has certain mannerisms and ways of communicating that are considered to be autistic traits for humans. But yeah, I would love to have a human character, whether it be Miles Morales, Peter Parker, anyone, that's just, I'm I'm autistic. I am diagnosed with autism, just straight up, because I want my kids to be able to read a comic and see themselves in it. And I know that's a push for people of color, for people who are queer, for people who are, gender nonconforming, whatever. Autistic people need that as well. I'm not disregarding the other parties, all of it. I want all of it. And especially for my son, who loves superheroes, I want him to be able to see something and see that guy's autistic and feel proud.
It's the exact same for me too. I want my daughter to watch these things and be able to say it because, like, I could see Tony Stark being somewhere on the spectrum,
Oh, definitely, yeah.
and imagine if that was out. Like,
Hmm.
Iron Man is autistic. My daughter would
Hmm.
lose her mind if she
Right.
could understand when she understands it.
Hmm.
But a lot of these heroes, it's like there's no way you're not. Like,
Hmm.
there just a little tweak here and there, add a little stimming, and you're there.
For sure.
Yeah,
Well, and I mean, if we watch back and really look, I think we'll notice that, I mean, Tony Stark is constantly stimming. He's moving,
yeah.
his brain's going at a million miles an hour. I mean, again, ADHD, probably without a question. But I would really love to have him say, I'm autistic. And it would make sense. It would fit his character. He does have splinter skills. He does have some theory of mind differences. He is, very Tony Stark centered. I'm not saying that autistic people are selfish. I'm just saying that theory
But
of mind.
they are very, very aware of themselves, but not too aware of others. But
For
that's
sure.
okay because they cannot understand. They can, but it's hard for them to understand others and differentiate it from themselves.
For sure. It can be more of a training process, I think. Then again, there's also, I don't know if you are familiar with the double empathy theory, but basically what the double empathy theory says is that if you have two autistic people communicating, they understand each other, they empathize with each other, everything's awesome. If you have two allistic people or without autism communicating, same thing. It's when you mix the two parties that you have that difference. So yes, I will agree that there is like a theory of mind difference with autism. However, if I'm talking to somebody else who's autistic, I don't read into that as like they're not empathizing for me. They just empathize in a different way. So I had a terrible day. And then they tell oh, I had a day that was like that 2 years ago story. I don't take their story to be invalidating to my day. I take that as them relating. Versus if I were to be that person and responding in that way to an holistic friend, they would be like, I'm talking about my story. Why are you like one-upping me, or why are you sharing your story right now? So it is somewhat a difference in just understanding, and you have two different processing systems trying to communicate with each other. Well, I don't know anything about computers, but I don't think that works most of the time with computers, and it certainly doesn't work with humans either.
Yeah, it's like a walkie-talkie on a different frequency.
There you go. It's a great example.
Well, thanks. I thought of it myself, but that's interesting. I really like that. That definitely does make a lot of sense because if you're not autistic, I don't think I am. But if you're not, and then you have a child that is autistic, you're kind of thrown into it, and you're just learning everything. So that was actually really, really helpful. That's really cool. All right, so we're kind of rounding up the episode. Besides, X-Men, Jean Grey, all that, are there any other characters that you think show pretty good representation?
Marvel wise, I'm gonna say King Valkyrie.
Oh,
Again, kind of a hint. I don't know if it was ever like fully stated through the MCU. Loki, for sure, that was stated. So we can definitely count Loki on our team. And then just like fandom wise, I have to say Charlie from Supernatural.
oh, I like that. Charlie is great.
She is great. She
Yeah.
is, very open about her sexuality. I love that she's kind of one of the boys, but she's also a strong woman. She runs off with Dorothy. Sorry for spoilers if anyone hasn't seen that. It's pretty old. I think she's fantastic. I love Felicia Day. She's amazing in everything she's ever been in. But yeah, that's probably my favorite queer representation I've seen so far.
Her relationship with Sam and Dean are one of my favorite things to come out of the show because she is just immediately like taken in.
Mm-hmm.
And then their friends are like, she's quirky, she's a little weird. And then it gets to be like, oh, we love this weird, quirky girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's our sister. She's ours now.
Right. Yeah. Like I love her so much. I'm going to LARP with her. But then, I mean, come on, Dean, like he loved LARPing. Like, let's not act like you did it just for the information you got. Like you were down. He probably does that on his off time now.
I would think so. I really like to think so. Because I've thought about this before and I was like, he did like, you could just kind of see a little puff of the chest, a little pride there. So I told my husband, I was like, I bet you like he thinks about that a lot.
Oh,
And my
totally.
husband's like, just watch the show.
Why are you so focused on the LARPing? It was so cool. I love that episode. Oh, also, I would be so upset if I didn't bring up Queen Maeve.
Oh, that's a good one too from the boys.
Yes, she is
Yeah.
so great. I think bisexual. I don't know. But yeah, I thought that was amazing representation, and that show is mind-blowing. Not safe for work, not safe for kids. I don't get to keep up on it quite as much as I'd like just because of that, because I'm like, even if someone wakes up in the opposite end of the house, if they heard 3 seconds of this, I'd be paying for years of counseling. So let's not. But what a show. And we are getting more Supernatural cast members on it. So
All of them.
I know, Misha. I cannot wait. Yeah.
And Jared. My heart is so full when I saw that, because I was like, Jared took the video with Baby the car behind him, and I was just like, oh my gosh. That made my week.
Right. And Jensen calling them. I thought that was so cute. And I mean, Jensen is just so cute no matter what he does.
Oh my God. I would take a bullet for many of them. But like for Jensen, it's like, I would do some weird things, man.
Oh, for sure.
So hot.
So hot.
Oh, I'm glad it's not just me.
No. I think everyone can agree on that. Like, that's like a commonly accepted truth that Jensen Ackles is probably one of the hottest people in the whole world.
Well, I've always found myself in between someone who's like, oh, no, Jared, no, Jensen, no, Jared. And I'm like, both. Same time.
You can have both. Yeah, thruples.
Yeah.
Thruples exist. They're happy.
Yeah, right.
I'm all Jensen myself, but that's okay. I'll leave you with Jared. Jensen can come see me on your weekends off or whatever.
You know, sometimes you just you're in the mood for a little bit of flavor, a different flavor every other day, you know?
I totally understand that, yeah.
Well, this has been so much fun getting to know you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, Megan.
Of course, you're welcome back anytime. You're amazing.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Vigilante Vibes. Wherever you're listening, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my amazing guests, as you see my amazing guest, or any future episode. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a marvelous night.